Hey folks, Jim and Leila here for this week's episode of Geeking Out. First off, we got lots of news to get to, but first we're going to do some comic reviews. And Leila, I'm going to let you start off because you got more this week.
Alright, so we've got Girl Revolver #1, and in this one...
Oh yes, because everyone asked for a relaunch of Danger Girl.
You're right. I mean, this was missing from my life.
Yes, mine too.
Okay, so... in this one, the Danger Girl team crashes a wedding to recover an ancient ring, and now they must head to Peru to solve the mysterious arrival of a strange human remains, and their contact is someone from Abby's past. Okay, so I kind of like this. I mean, it's got beautiful art by Chris Madden.
I will agree, the art is absolutely gorgeous in this. It's very cartoonish with the... It's got a J. Scott Campbell style to it.
Yeah, it's slick.
It's very slick. I did like the art.
And it does have, you know, for basically a Charlie's Angels kind of feel, it does have a fairly gripping story getting around that. So I like Andy Hartnell did a pretty good job on that. Yeah,
and generally Andy is a very good writer, so yeah.
Yeah.
All jokes aside about the book.
Yeah, exactly. So
it is
like,
a fun ride.
If you like sort of like Mission Impossible / Charlie's Angels / Tomb Raider, that's this book.
Okay.
Basically. More so Charlie's Angels, but you know, it's very beautiful to look at, and the story wasn't half bad. So I have to say, overall, I gotta kind of recommend it. I mean, if you're just looking for some fun popcorn style reading that really has great art that jumps off the page, then this one's for you.
Next up, we have Steed and Mrs Peel. And this one is based off the 1960s series, The Avengers. And
not The Avengers that's coming out this summer.
No, not the Marvel Avengers, nor is it based off of that terrible movie with Sean Connery in the giant bear suit.
Yeah.
Which the less said about the better.
Yeah.
Anyway, in this one, when Tara King is kidnapped by a mysterious organization, John Steed and Emma Peel must reunite to solve this new mystery. Okay, this one's written by Grant Morrison.
Wow.
So the writing, as always, is fantastic. Ian Pearson, I believe, does the art. And it's a callback. It's really a callback to the 1970s style water paint style art, and it is simply gorgeous. It looks like it was all hand done, from lettering to just the drawings. It looks gorgeous, and I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed the original 60s series. Not many people know about it over here because, well, people lead sheltered lives.
Yeah.
But I quite enjoyed The Avengers, and this is a really good off-take on that, and it's got everything that's evocative of the original series, and I really enjoyed it for that. So, thank you, Boom. This is a great reintroduction to the characters that many people have missed out on, but really should get to know.
Next up, we've got Dead Man's Run, #1. This is from Aspen. In this one, Sam Tinker is a cartographer, a map maker skilled in traversing mazes, and he's going to have to use all of his skills to help escape hell with his boss, Captain Frank Romero.
Good luck!
Yeah.
I've been trying to get out of the store for 5 years!
Anyways, so this wasn't too bad. I mean, it's a good concept by Greg Pak, who I really like Greg Pak. And I like his concept of hell here. It's a place where your soul can be murdered, which gives some gravity to any of the decisions that are going to be made there. It's not just all, you know, you're already in hell, so oh well. You know, like there's other stuff at stake here, so that's kind of cool. And Tony Parker's art is kind of brilliant in spots. I really enjoyed.
Some of it looks really nice. Some of it's a little subdued, but
yeah,
it looks
exactly.
Nice
yeah,
overall.
Some of the faces sometimes lack expression, which you know, and I'm always like, I like the backgrounds to be kind of detailed. That's just me, but I understand, you know, artists have only a certain amount of time to put this kind of thing together, so you know, it can't be in every panel probably, but. There you have it. I actually thought it was a fairly decent book, and if you want to give something that's like really kind of different a try, I thought this was a pretty good offering from Aspen. I'm like, you know, not interested in a lot of the stuff they're doing right now, but this one was
quite
pretty
enjoyed
good.
Charismatic and Lady Mechanica, but
yeah.
other than that,
which is canceled, by the way.
Yeah, which is canceled. But anyway,
yeah.
Next up, we have our first peek into what's been going on the last few months. We thought we'd check in with what's going on with the DC relaunch.
Yeah, we're going to revisit
We're revisiting some of our favorite titles, And for me, there was only one title that I've actually stick by for the last few months, and that was Batgirl. So we're checking in on Batgirl number 5. And in this one, still reeling from the shocking return of her mother, Batgirl goes on the hunt for a killer named Gretel, who has an eerie and violent power over the men of Gotham, including Bruce Wayne. As I will say this. This is the only superhero book I buy. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not a superhero fan. This sucked me in.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks,
Gail. Thanks, Gail. I love you. And it's actually a fantastically written, fantastically drawn book. I love it to death. And that's saying a lot because I'm not a superhero guy. But this book is just fantastic. The characterizations are great.
Yeah.
You really feel for the characters, and I can't say anything bad about this book. There hasn't been anything bad about it yet. Great characterization, great art, great story. It has everything a superhero comic should be. If you're not reading this book, what's the wrong with you? Go out and buy it.
Alright, so next up we've got Batman number 5. So in this one, the Court of Owls has trapped Batman in a maze. He wanders in the corridors, hiding in the dark, with only a fountain of spiked water to keep him alive. Bruce feverishly tries to keep a grip on his sanity and to detect a way to escape, but the Talon finds him. Okay, I love this book. Again...
I thought you hated Capullo.
Well, we'll get to that. I love Scott Snyder's writing.
Okay, Snyder's writing.
I love it. Exploring the link between Batman and the animal that he represents, and so, like, you're having that whole hiding in the dark thing and the relationship to owls. It's been kind of fascinating. Again, I'm not a huge fan of Capullo drawing Batman. That's just me. But... his art is taken to another level in this book when the book gets turned while you read it. Yes, you have to actually turn the book this way, then this way to finish the story. So you've got this big,
concept.
like, several pages of kind of like splash page art, which you would think is kind of gimmicky and stupid.
Sounds like a gimmick to me, but
it actually works. It really works well, and it really fits into that whole maze thing, and I thought it was kind of brilliant, and you can really only capture that in paper format, so take that, digital. You know? You can really only capture like the effect of that by, you know, buying the book in paper form. But other than that, I really am liking this Batman book. I mean, there's others that are iffy for me, but I'm really liking this one.
Alright, next up we have Lord of the Jungle, which is basically a retelling of Tarzan. In this one, John Clayton, Lord of Greystoke, and his wife Lady Alice are left stranded on a remote African coast and must fend for themselves in a strange new world with a baby on the way. And then they're killed by monkeys.
Ah, I see.
And a monkey takes the baby, and he becomes Tarzan.
There we go.
Yeah, there's not much else to this. Yeah. It's basically just a retelling of Edgar Rice Burroughs' Tarzan. It's probably as close to the book
I was going to say
as it's going to get.
Yeah.
And there's a few additions into the story as well, which actually add to it. It does add to it. The art's really nice in this. Of course, problem with Dynamite is way too many covers.
Yeah. Why don't you just make one good one, two good ones, and be done?
Yeah, we don't need 4, 9 covers. There's no point. Yeah. Overall, it's a good story. For $1, it's a good introduction to the character.
Absolutely.
If you've never read a Tarzan book before or seen the character, yeah, this is the perfect introduction. I quite enjoyed it, and it's a good retelling of the origin.
Okay, so more from the DC universe. We've got Nightwing number 5, and in this one, Haley Circus visits New Orleans, and when Jimmy gets a visitor from his past, Dick has some voodoo to deal with. Because we're New Orleans, we've got to deal with some voodoo.
Voodoo the voodoo.
So, anyway, so you know, I guess going to New Orleans and doing the whole voodoo thing, that's kind of cheesy.
Yeah, that's never been done before.
Yeah, never been done before. And this does feel like a filler issue before the big 2 issues that are going to summarize the first arc. Like, this was really off to the side of that. And there's very little mention of what was going on previously until the last page. So for that, you know, this is just a sort of like a one-off book. Like, so, you know, when you're watching the X-Files and there was all those mythology episodes and then there was just that cool one that was a throw-off, that's this one right here. I do enjoy how Higgins is writing Dick and his attempts to balance his two lives between being Nightwing and then also being like the caretaker of the circus now and all the mysteries that are going on with it. I do like that. So I'm digging that circus angle and I'm looking forward to finding out about the last page and how that's going to roll on in the next 2 issues. So I think the next 2 issues are going to be really good, and this one was just a bit of fun.
And last and certainly not least from me is Legend of Oz, The Wicked West #2. And in this one, after a run-in with local cowboys, Gale appears to have a new ally in her search for the Emerald City. But is he really what he appears to be? And who had called out to Gale on her way into town? As I really enjoyed the first issue, this is a really good continuation. You get to meet the Tin Man, you get to meet the Scarecrow, you get to meet the Lion, all in different guises, as it were. I really like what they've done with the Tin Man, him being a grizzled old cowboy.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
The Lion is kind of a Joker-esque lion now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, look at the face paint.
Oh, so, yeah.
And the Scarecrow. The Scarecrow is my favorite right now.
Yeah?
They've turned the Scarecrow into an Indian girl. An Indian guy girl.
Huh?
And it works! She's a mute and basically points out things and it's actually really works well. And it's... and they have the shape-shifting flying monkeys and there's a lot of stuff to really enjoy about this book. And it's actually a really good evolution on what the story originally was.
Oz with a twist.
It's very Oz with a twist, and it works fantastically well. The art is fantastic. Story by Tom Hutchison is good. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next, because this has been a great series overall so far. So if you want to get something with a little bit of an Oz taste to it, and is a little bit more mature, check this one out. It's a lot of fun.
And last but not least in our stop in the DC Universe this week is Catwoman #5. So in this one, Catwoman has her hands full when a simple smash and grab turns into a fight with Reach, a metahuman who can fire anti-gravity beams from her hands.
Wow.
Kind of lame. Anyway, and a run-in with the cops, who it turns out it's not good to steal dirty money from them, especially in Gotham. Who knew? Yeah.
But then she goes to a spa.
She goes to a spa,
So you gotta get that sexualization in there somewhere.
I guess. Okay, but what I can say is that overall, I do kind of like this series. I do like the art by March overall.
Art looks good.
It's nice. Wonky in some weird spots, but, you know, and I'm gonna sort of, I read a couple of reviews going into this because I've missed, like, some of the issues going along the way here. And I've read some other reviewers and what they thought about Catwoman. And one reviewer was talking about how they expected Catwoman to learn from her mistakes and sort of mature and grow and express a desire for the death of her best friend dies. And they wanted that to mean something as to Catwoman and her evolution and whatever. And they were just like, and we're just not there. It's just like this, you know, fluffy comic book and whatever. And I'm like, and I just have a couple things to say about that. It's issue #5. #5, people. Like, give her some time, you know.
It takes a while to tell a story, folks.
You know.
You can't just do it.
Maybe she will learn from her mistakes. And that's an arc that she'll go on. But, you know, we have to enjoy some of this other stuff first. Also, Catwoman is a villain. So...
Well, she's kind of an anti-villain. She does help out when it suits her goals.
She's a thief. She steals stuff. She goes, spends that money. That's her thing. And that's what they're doing here. And sometimes she ends up being on the side of good with Batman, but that's only, like you said, when it suits her goals. You know, like... So, she's not always going to make the heroic choice, and that's what makes her interesting. I don't want to read something about Catwoman being a hero. I don't want that.
No.
No, not at all. So, yeah, I hope she learns from mistakes and then keeps making them, because that's, you know, what makes her interesting. I don't know. Just me, maybe.
All right. So, as I said at the beginning of the show, we have lots of news to cover. First off, we're going to start with some sad news from the last few weeks. A couple weeks ago, we lost both Joe Simon and Jerry Robinson.
Yeah.
Now, as people know, Jerry Robinson created the Joker. And without him, we would never have the perfect Joker and Mark Hamill and various other great Joker characters.
Yeah, just a great Batman foil.
Exactly. And as always, and as you know, Joe Simon was the creator of Captain America, and what a great character.
Yeah. At least he lived to see the Captain America movie.
He got to see the movie, so that's a great thing. And if you buy the DVD, you can see one of the last interviews with him about it.
That's cool.
And it's really an interesting interview. But yeah, so we just want to give our final respects to these two great creators. Thank you. I got to meet Jerry Robinson a few years ago. He was a gentleman, and I appreciate everything he's done for this industry, as well as Joe Simon. They will be terribly missed. Absolutely. Thank you for your contributions, and we will miss you. Okay, so now back to some other news. Let's talk a bit about Sopa and Pipa.
Yeah, Jim's all up on now, what's going on, but...
Yeah, Leila doesn't know too much about it, so I'm going to keep it very simple. But basically, if these laws were to pass, we would not be able to bring you this show. If we were to show, say, oh, I don't know, Batgirl, we could be sued or taken down.
Yeah.
So legally, we couldn't even show you Batgirl or anything that's copyrighted. We'd have to show you this.
Yes.
And that would suck.
Yeah.
And basically, it's not a good law. It's the only way to really stop it is to tell companies that are supporting it to not support it. And there are quite a few publishers supporting this bill.
So
now,
you should find out.
Now here's the thing. We're against online piracy. We are.
Absolutely.
But the law is, well, way too strict.
There's going to be a medium somewhere.
There's going to have to be a medium. I mean, right now, some publishers that are supporting it, Disney Publishing, Graphic Artists Guild, Marvel, Random House, HarperCollins, Scholastic, and DC are just some of the big names.
But they're not necessarily gonna sue everybody who shows everything.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's the thing.
But, you know.
But if some lawyer somewhere or whatever, but anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, if you want to try and stop it, just
find out about it.
Call your senator, etc., if you're in the States. Talk to people that you know in the industry that work for these people.
And find out.
The best way is to get knowledge and learn from that. So that's the best way to stop it. We're going to keep doing what we do every week, and hopefully we'll still be here in 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to some odder news. The new DC logo.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh, God.
I don't really like it.
I hate that new logo with a fiery passion.
I get that page-turning thing. I kind of...
It looks like it was done by a graphic artist who just started. It looks like a $5 job.
Yeah,
it looks terrible.
What's wrong with the current DC logo?
There's nothing wrong with it.
Just checking.
The current DC logo that they are using right now on the books is the perfect evolution of what the DC logo was.
Yeah.
This thing looks like a piece of shit.
I don't like it. And I'm not sure what they're trying to say about it,
but,
with it or whatever. But
yeah, it's pretty damn bad. It's pretty damn bad, but...
I mean, that whole turning the page reference, I guess. Turning the page on the past, getting into a new universe, I don't know. But then why didn't they do that when the new 52 came out?
Yeah. So we won't talk much more about that. Let's talk about some more DC stuff.
Yes!
What's been canceled?
Yes, well, there's going to be...
No big surprises here.
Yeah, there's going to be a second wave of
another
new
6
titles.
books.
So there's another 6 books that are coming in, and there's 6 that are going out. So first, the 6 that are going out. Blackhawks, Hawk and Dove, Men of War, Mr. Terrific, OMAC, and Static Shock.
No surprise at all.
Probably not any surprises there, yeah. I am disappointed that Men of War isn't going to keep going a little
Well,
bit.
they are going to do a new Sergeant Rock or whatnot.
Well, there's a book that's... they're doing, one of the new books is called GI Combat.
Yeah.
And, I mean, so I guess they're going to pick up similar themes with that one. I don't know if Sergeant Rock will be featured as prominently, but I hope so. I hope so. So basically what they're billing about this second wave is that it's supposed to be all about world building and building on the shared universe that they're already doing. So the other new titles in addition to GI Combat are Batman Incorporated, which we're sort of familiar with, but they're going to take it in a different direction. Earth 2, which they say the Justice Society battles menaces that will set their parallel Earth at odds with other worlds. Yay! Parallel universes are back!
Wait, isn't DC 52 already a parallel universe?
Anyways, World's Finest is coming back, and that's going to feature Huntress and Power Girl.
Well, that might be good. I like Power Girl.
That could be good. The Ravagers, which is sort of like a Teen Titans and Superboy spinoff.
Man.
I don't know how good that's going to be, honestly, but we'll see. And then Dial H, which looks at the physiological or the psychological effects on people who accidentally get powers.
Yeah, that sounds pretty bad.
I don't know. So for me, I basically am interested in maybe 3 of those 6, but
I'm sure we'll have to read them and review them, so...
Yeah, we'll probably review them all for you. So, I mean, somewhat sad to see Men of War go, but...
Not so sad about Hawk and Dove.
No, not really, and I didn't enjoy Static Shock from the beginning.
And Black Hawks was a disaster from the start.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
There you have it. It was not too surprising that we're going to see some changes, but you knew that there was always going to be more DC titles, especially with there was never a Justice Society book in the new lineup, so you had to expect that something was coming, so here you have it.
Yep. Alright, so let's get to the last 2 stories here. And one of the big ones that was announced this week is that Walking Dead Season 3 will have 16 episodes.
Yeah.
16. Wow, a whole 16 episodes of nothing happening.
Wow.
It's the one thing that ticked me off about this past half season. I hope the next 6 episodes have something happen, because the last 5 or 6 were just...
I loved the last episode, though. The finale was good.
It was a good finale, but it just went on way too long.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that whole search thing went on way too long. The bits at the farm went on way too long. But, I mean... And
you kind of pretty much guessed what was going to happen anyway at the end, so...
And
there was no big surprise.
The very fact that Shane is still there and they're really evolving his character into something different is interesting. And it's good, I guess, for the people who like the comic book, but why would you just want to see something you've already read? There's got to be something new there for you, and I think a lot of it has to do with that character, at least going through the show. So
agreed. And our last little news bit is something that I never thought would happen. And it's made me have a new belief in God. Because apparently George Lucas is retiring. He's not going to direct anymore. This is a godsend.
Hasn't this been said before, though?
I don't know, but either way, it made me a very happy person because... Quite frankly, I've never really liked anything he's done. So
I like Star Wars.
I mean, yeah, people love Star Wars. I've never liked Star Wars, but that's just me.
Yeah.
And yeah, people are gonna badmouth me about it because
he's crazy.
Yeah, I'm crazy. But yeah, if you watch it with a critical mind, you'll see what I mean. But anyway, apparently he'll be retiring after Red Tails.
Really? I'm actually looking forward to Red Tails, though.
As am I. I love the story of the Tuskegee Airmen.
Absolutely.
But with the trailers I've seen and everything, it kind of ticks me off the way they're portraying the trailer on TV anyway.
Oh.
With the music.
Oh, okay.
They're like using a dubstep or hard rap type music. It's like... It's like, why is this in the... there's no point to it. But, I mean, yes, it's great to have a movie about the Tuskegee Airmen, and
absolutely,
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'll judge it when I see it. I'm not going to judge it beforehand.
Yeah.
So, just the trailers alone got me kind of going, why are they trying to put this stuff with this? Because it does not work. Yeah. But, overall, it looks good.
Yeah.
It looks like, at least, hopefully, he's paying respect to them in the proper way. Because, man, those guys deserve a lot of respect.
And I think George is still going to be involved in the industry, so
he's going to be
direct. There's writing. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, right?
He'll be around forever, but because he'll be replaced by a droid. But yeah, so that's it for this week. We will see you next week. Have a good one.